On that fateful day of August 14, 2005, the atmosphere at Larnaca Airport was charged with anticipation as Helios Flight 522 prepared for its journey to Prague Airport, with a stopover in Athens. The clock ticked away, and at 9:07 a.m., the engines roared to life as the plane took off. On board, 115 passengers and 6 crew members braced themselves for a routine flight, unaware of the horror that awaited them. Just 15 minutes into the flight, the aircraft soared at 12,040 feet. But then, an alarm pierced the air, shattering the calm. It was the dreaded takeoff configuration alarm, blaring inexplicably at a height where it had no place. The experienced pilots, Captain Hans-Jürgen Martin and co-pilot Pampos Charalambous, frantically tried to make sense of the situation, contacting Air Traffic Control, ATC, for answers. As they desperately relayed their confusion, an onslaught of alarms erupted within the cockpit. The cacophony drowned out their pleas for help, their voices swallowed by the chaos. The master action alarm, signaling overheating systems, added to the pilots' mounting terror. They were trapped in a nightmarish symphony of blaring warnings and their dwindling comprehension. Panic rippled through the cabin as passengers sensed the scarcity of oxygen in the air they gasped for. In a stroke of macabre timing, the oxygen masks descended automatically, a stark reminder of the imminent danger they faced. The plane continued its ascent, now reaching an altitude of 18,000 feet. The pilot persisted in his attempts to establish contact with ATC, but his words were lost in the void of radio silence. The connection to the control room vanished, leaving the crew in a dangerous limbo. Meanwhile, on the ground, Athens Air Control tirelessly attempted to reach the enigmatic flight. Minutes turned into agonizing hours, but their efforts remained futile. At 9:30 a.m., the aircraft climbed to a staggering altitude of 34,000 feet, venturing into the domain of the gods. The Athens flight region came into view at 9:37 a.m., an irresistible yet unreachable haven for the beleaguered passengers and crew. From 10:12 to 10:50 a.m., Athens Air Control made desperate attempts to establish contact, their voices echoing into the abyss. Their calls went unanswered, signaling an impending tragedy. The scheduled landing time of 10:45 a.m. arrived, but the plane was nowhere to be found. The weight of foreboding pressed upon the hearts of those on the ground, prompting the dispatch of 2 F-16 fighter jets to scour the skies in search of the vanished aircraft. In a chilling encounter, the fighter jets finally located the enigmatic plane. As they approached, the pilot's gaze fixated on a haunting sight. Someone sat in the co-pilot's seat, their presence an eerie aberration. The main pilot slumped forward, his life extinguished. The fighter jets circled the plane, peering through the windows, only to find that the passengers remained oblivious to their presence. No reactions, no gazes. It was as if they were mere specters adrift in their final moments. Then, at precisely 11:49 a.m., a lone figure emerged from the cabin, approaching the cockpit. The fighter jet pilot watched transfixed as this unidentified person settled into the pilot's seat. Frantic gestures and desperate attempts to communicate ensued, but their words evaporated. In a cruel twist of fate, the plane's left engine sputtered and died, causing the aircraft to lurch to the left. The dance with death had begun. The plane tilted, a creature wounded and teetering on the brink of oblivion. At noon, the right engine ceased functioning, leaving the vessel powerless against its tragic fate. Control relinquished, the plane plunged toward its doom. At 12:04 p.m., it crashed upon a desolate hill near Athens, engulfed in an explosive blaze. The impact extinguished all life aboard, leaving behind only the eerie silence of a shattered dream. News of the Helios plane crash spread like wildfire, a horrifying tale etched into the collective consciousness of a mourning world. A swift and valiant rescue operation unfolded, extracting lifeless bodies from the twisted wreckage. Autopsies revealed a grim truth. The passengers had perished long before the catastrophic collision. Yet, even in the wake of such devastating loss, questions lingered, their answers eluding the grasp of investigators. Who had commandeered the plane for those 2 harrowing hours when the pilots had succumbed to an invisible enemy? The unsettling truth emerged. Flight attendant Andreas, driven by an unfathomable determination, had taken the helm. Andreas, an unlikely hero, had made valiant attempts to contact the air control room in Athens before the plane's catastrophic descent. Unburdened by ignorance yet lacking the formal training to navigate a Boeing aircraft, he defied the odds. Fueled by sheer willpower, Andreas fought against impossible odds to steer the plane toward an uninhabited area. Meticulous examination by experts revealed the insidious cause behind the tragedy: a seemingly innocent button on the control panel. This pressurized button, responsible for regulating airflow and preventing oxygen depletion, held the truth within its innocuous appearance. Locked in manual mode by an oversight during routine maintenance, it had gone unnoticed by both the pilots and the crew. The dire consequences of this oversight unfolded relentlessly. As the plane hurtled through the sky, the button's unintended setting gradually deposed oxygen. The alarm cries were heard, but tragically ignored, as the pilot's attention failed to turn to this silent killer. Oxygen masks extended to the passengers, providing temporary respite, while the cockpit remained devoid of this vital lifeline. One by one, consciousness slipped away from those aboard, except for one lone survivor, Andreas, the scuba diver blessed with the ability to hold his breath. As the shadows deepened and the plane hurtled toward oblivion, Andreas battled against fate. The weight of an impossible burden crushed his spirit, but he clung to a sliver of hope. With the sky as his witness, he fought to land the vessel that carried the souls of the fallen. Ultimately, his bravery proved insufficient, and the plane succumbed to its tragic destiny. After 15 long months, the Athens Airport Authority unveiled its damning report. The button, designed to remain in auto mode, had been manipulated into manual mode by negligent service personnel. This heart-wrenching tragedy might have been averted had it remained in its intended setting. The tale of Helios Flight 522 seared its way into the annals of aviation history, forever etching the grief and horror into the hearts of those who bore witness. It serves as a solemn reminder of the fragility of life, the profound impact of human error, and the indomitable spirit of one individual who fought to the end. Finally, subscribe to our channel to receive updates on future videos and be a part of our community. I appreciate your support, and we look forward to bringing you more thrilling stories in the future.